Uh, Welcome. We will wait 1 or 2 minutes to allow people to join, and then we will start our webinar. So please be patient, and thank you for joining today. We have a lot of people already, 28 people who joined as participants. As a little bit of warm-up, I would like to ask you to put your names in the chat, the organizations that you are coming from, and just for fun, say hello in your local language. Okay, a bit still waiting. We had a record number of people who registered, 156. So it takes a bit of time until the people join. And let's wait for them as well. Oh, I see that a lot of people already put their names in the chat. Thank you for that. And I would say let's get started. People who will join at a later stage and they will catch up with us. So thank you and welcome to our webinar on social media essentials for local NGOs. My name is not Child Hub, the Child Protection Hub as it's shown in the screen. It's Enikő Vass. I'm the Content and Communication Manager at Terre Partnership and Localization Project, LocalLink Hub. We are part of Child Protection Hub, so this is why you see the name of the Child Protection Hub. But LocalLink Hub is an online resource platform in 9 languages. Let me show you. Here, as you can see, in Albanian, Bengali, Hindi, Hungarian, Arabic, French, Ukrainian, and English. At the LocalLink Hub, we support our local partners and local NGOs, and where you can grow, you can communicate, and you can connect. So how organizations can grow with the help of our site? By taking the curated e-learnings we develop and provide. We have a lot of different topics covered, like fundraising, environmental sustainability, CFRM, and of course, communication. I will provide you with these links in the chat. At our site, we also publish the news about the local organizations. So if you have some milestones to celebrate, please share it with us. Send to my email address or to the central email address, and I will make it sure to publish it on our website. We also publish curated grants every Friday. The link will be also provided in the chat. How can you connect with us and with each other? By following us on social media, subscribing to the newsletter, or registering on our site as partners. This will give you access to the membership directory as well to some selected e-learnings. Okay, before I dive in a bit deeper, I need to share some housekeeping announcements with you. The webinar, the language of the webinar is English. The event will be recorded and will be made available along with the presentation slides. The chat window, as you see, is open. Please write down your names, the organizations that you represent, and if you would like, say hello in your local language. If you have questions, however, please put them in the Q&A section, because there we can see the questions more. We will answer these questions at the end of Isabel's presentation. Automated live captioning in English is available. It's a Zoom functionality. You can turn it on at the bottom of the screen. And also at the end of our event, we will share a short survey about the webinar. And please take a moment to fill it out. It's really very short and it helps us create better webinars. Okay, now let's move on to today's topic. Today's webinar is one of the first from 3 events that we are designed to promote the various e-learning materials we at Terre des Hommes at LocalLink developed. The second webinar will be held on environmental sustainability on the 2nd of March. The third webinar will be on 3rd of April and will be about institutional fundraising. We will provide you with the links to register if you are interested in these webinars as well. And now the topic of today's webinar at last. Social media essentials for local NGOs. As I already mentioned, is part of a broader communication e-learning we have developed with the contribution of Terre des Hommes communication team. The title of this e-learning is Building Strong Communication, a guide for local NGOs. And it offers 6 individual courses on communication strategy, on how to create content for your NGO, on social media, and this is we are going to present today, how to organize a webinar, we are demonstrating this right now, branding and visibility for NGOs, and media and PR relations. The courses have each a certificate of completion, and you can take these individually or you can take them all. So today's topic is social media essentials for local NGOs. Our speaker today is my colleague Isabel Zbinden from Terre des Hommes in Lausanne. She's a communication specialist and a social media expert. She has over 10 years of experience in digital marketing and communication. And she has worked with various nonprofit organizations to enhance their online presence and engagement. She is passionate about helping local NGOs, and thank you for being on today's webinar. And she is also the co-creator of the communication e-learning, which is hosted on the LocalLink Hub. She is also dedicated to share her knowledge and empowering others in the digital landscape. So now I will stop sharing my screen and let me just go here. Okay, I think Isabel, now you can take it over from here. You can share your screen. And
thank you so much, Enikő. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this webinar. I will share my screen, and Enikő, please let me know if it is visible.
Yes, it is visible. Thank you.
Perfect. So like Enikő said, please don't hesitate to ask your questions, put them in the Q&A section, and we will be happy to answer them at the end. Enikő already presented a few words about me, so thank you very much. I'm Isabel. I have been working in the communication team of Terre des Hommes for 10 years in different aspects of communication, including social media and digital marketing. And the goal today is to give guide you, in setting up social media for your organizations. So the focus is for people who are beginning on social media, and the idea is also to help you ask yourselves a lot of questions that will guide your choices. Why social media? Why did we choose to focus on this topic? Because it is actually very widely used. It's it's a key tool in communication and in fundraising also for organizations. It's easy to access. So everyone, you just need an internet connection, but everyone can access social media, create an account, create a page on social media. It also requires relatively low resources and knowledge. So the basic features of social media are free. And also because I think an important part of it, it's quite fun to use. So you can create content, you can choose how to present your organization, and it's important not to forget that part of the work. Yeah, like I said, the goal is not just to give you tips and guidelines, but also to help you ask yourself some key questions that will then guide your strategy on social media. So this, as Enikő mentioned, this webinar is based on the more extensive e-learning course, Building Strong Communication, a guide for local NGOs, which you can find on the link here or by scanning the QR code. There are also other topics around communication, like press or media, building a social media strategy, and also building a communication strategy, and also the topic of social media with more details. Today's webinar should last about 1 hour in total. So what we will talk about, first, asking the question, why should I set up a social media channel? And the questions you have to ask yourself before you start. Which platform should you choose depending on what your goal is, who your audience is? What are the first steps when starting a social media channel? Some guidelines on how to create good content and some ideas. How to manage your social media presence, the social media presence of your organization, some tips on community management, and so on. And then at the end, we will address the questions that you have. So the first question that you ask yourself when you are looking into the topic of social media is you don't just create a social media channel for the sake of being on social media. You have to be aware of your goal. Okay, so what do you want to achieve when you create a social media channel? And you have to be quite, I mean, my recommendation would be to be quite specific. We often want to do a lot of things, but it's easier for your strategy if you have 1 or 2 goals. Would you like to raise awareness on a specific topic? I don't know, is your organization working on a specific child right, for example? And is this something that you want to raise awareness on? Do you want to advocate for a specific topic? Very important for our sector is, do you want to create a social media channel because your goal is to raise funds? Do you need it to create a network, to do networking job? Or for example, do you need a channel, a communication channel with the people you help, for example? Do you plan on, I don't know, creating a Facebook page where you can receive feedback from the communities that you help? These are just examples. There can be also other goals, but really first, the first step is to define your goal. And in parallel, also define who you want to reach. So everyone is very, I mean, you have to define who you want to reach to be able then to choose a channel to create your messages. So do you want to reach the people that you support? Are they your target audience? Do you want to reach and communicate with partners or other NGOs? Is it the donors that you are aiming? Is it more the media outlets or local or international journalists? Do you need a social media channel to promote your job openings, for example? Or is it rather raising awareness among the general public, for example? So these are the first questions that you can ask yourself. As I said, my recommendation is to be quite specific in the beginning, not to do everything at the same time. So start small, choose one goal or two and one audience, and then build up on that. Take some time to think it over. Don't hesitate to discuss it with colleagues, just to see that everyone is aligned on the same decisions. Yeah, because this is really an essential step for your strategy. Okay. Once you've defined this, comes the question of which platform you should use. So there are many platforms, social media platforms. There are, of course, the well-known ones like Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, but there are also local platforms that can be in your country or in the region that also must be considered. So what platform to choose? I'm not going to tell you you have to take this platform or this platform, because it really depends on your context, on your goal, on your audience that you want to reach. But here's some questions that you can ask yourself to be able to choose the best, the platform that is most adapted to your needs. So based on the goals that you have set, that I've talked about before, so the goal and the audience, you can ask yourself which channel is the most used by the audience that I want to reach. For example, if you have chosen, the audience you want to reach is other NGOs and you want to create a network of NGOs, it won't be the same than if you want to reach the communities that you help. So where is your audience? And the second question is, how are the social media platforms used in your country? And this, you are the best to know about the context. For example, I'm in Switzerland. People don't use social media the same way than in Nepal or in Bolivia or in Kenya, for example. So really, you have to analyze how social media is used in your country. You can this can be based on your personal experience. This can be based also on information you will find on the internet, on statistics. You can also discuss it with colleagues and also with the audience you want to reach. If you're, for example, if you want to reach your community, maybe you can have some discussions with the people of this community to see, okay, how are they using social media? Which are the channels that they prefer? Where do they spend most time on? So here I just put an example. Let's say you're a local NGO in Greece, and the goal that you set is to strengthen your relationship with institutional donors and state partners. So your target audience is institutional donors and state partners. After a quick analysis of the social media landscape in Greece, you observe that LinkedIn is perceived as a serious social media platform in Greece, that many ministries which you work with are active on LinkedIn, and that also civil society organizations are active on LinkedIn. So these could be some observations that could help you in your decision that LinkedIn may be a good fit for your organization. This is just an example. Sorry. Another example could be if you are a local NGO in Kenya and your goal on social media is to do awareness raising on health messages, here for the example, for the community that you support. So after your analysis, you observe that most of the people in the community you work in use Facebook daily, and that almost everyone has an account, and that Facebook is considered as a trusted source of information. So this could lead you to the conclusion that creating a Facebook account can help you reach your goal. Just an example of the platforms that we use at Terre des Hommes. So here we are, so we have main accounts that we manage from HQ. We are on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and we used to be active on X, but now we have decided to be less active on there. I won't go into detail, and we don't have enough time now, but happy to answer any questions about that. So just for a bit more detail, so we have, like I said before, we have different goals and different target audiences on these channels. So LinkedIn, for example, our goal is more to network on there, to link with other NGOs, with partners, with potential institutional donors. Our goal on Facebook is more widely doing awareness raising and also some fundraising for individual donors. So our target audience is more donors that we have here in Switzerland and the general public. On Instagram, we also have a goal of awareness raising, and the target audience is more how should I say, the age is more limited, so I would say from 20 to 45 years old, general public in Switzerland. And TikTok is something we are experimenting with to touch a much more younger audience. So with a goal of education also, and yeah, but this is something we are experimenting with, as I said. So let me go to the next slide. Okay. Once you have chosen your social media platform based on the questions that you have answered before, the first step I would recommend is drafting a short strategy and action plan, just that you have everything documented, and yes, that every decision is written down and that everyone agrees. So again, which are your objectives and your target audience? This we've been through already several times. Other questions to address would be, how do you want to present your organization? So for this, there's a lot of work to be done on why do you exist? How do you want to be perceived? What messages do you want to convey? What are the key messages of your organization? And of course, which channel do you plan to use? And also a question that is important is, what resources do you have specifically for social media? Because oftentimes we are very enthusiastic and want to create social media channels, but then we realize that it takes a lot of time. So please don't underestimate the time that you need to creating. It doesn't take a lot of time. It's more managing, daily managing on social media that might take a lot of time. So how much time can you, how much resources can you dedicate to social media in terms of time, in terms of people, and also in terms of budget? Can you have a small budget to promote your post on social media or your social media channel? Is that possible? Also something to plan in your strategy and action plan. And then, as I mentioned, the action plan. What do you do next? In what order? Who is responsible for what? After you've prepared your social media strategy and action plan, it's time to set up your account or your accounts. So this is quite well explained on each channel. So for example, if you decide to open a LinkedIn page, you can find a lot of information on LinkedIn. And also if you have a question or if something is not clear, you will find a lot of answers on Google or on forums, because you're probably not the only person to ask that question. So don't hesitate to really Google the question that you have and it will be explained. But yeah, usually it's quite straightforward. You go to the platform and then you will find all the information to create the page for your organization. Just maybe a small point of attention is that on LinkedIn and on Facebook, maybe also on other platforms, I recommend creating a page and not a profile. So a profile would be for an individual person. For example, on LinkedIn or on Facebook, you can have your own profile, and I can have a profile for Isabel Zbinden, and I fill up my personal information. If you're an organization, there's a specific type of page, which is called page, that you can set up, which is a bit different from the profile. So please keep that in mind. It should also be explained when you start the process of opening a page. At the beginning, when creating a page, you will need some basic information that you have to fill in or upload, like the name of your page, the name you choose. So here, I really recommend putting your organization's name, like the official name, the profile picture, which most of the time can be your logo. Most platforms also require a cover photo, which is like the picture in the background of your page. It's also good to have a small description of your organization so that people, when they arrive on your page, they can read the short paragraph about who you are, and to include also a link to your website or to any other source of information that talks about you. Also, sometimes you can fill in your physical address and other information. There are platforms like Instagram or TikTok where you have to select a username. So for example, for Terre des Hommes, or our official name is Terre des Hommes. But on Instagram, our username is tdh_org, so ORG, which is a reference to our website URL. So here, the recommendation would be to choose a username that people can easily identify. Either the name of your organization is free, or if the name is too long, maybe you can select an abbreviation, or yeah, you find, this is always maybe a bit of a tricky step, just to find the username that people will understand and that reflects the name of your organization. Okay, now that you've set up all this is when the real work will start. So now comes the step of creating regular content. So when you create your content, I recommend always going back to your initial goal. Keep in mind your target audience and keep in mind what your key messages are. This will help you create content that is coherent and also help build the image of your organization on social media. Here I just listed some ideas of content that you can create. There are more, you don't have to do them all. It's just that you have a bit larger pictures of the kind of content that can be created, content and formats. So you can publish stories, stories in the sense of stories of the people that you help. So it can be a testimony, it can be, I don't know, a carousel, a slider on Instagram, for example, with the story of, I don't know, a child that has been supported by your organization, and that you include some quotes, for example. Depending on your goal, you might also create content with advocacy messages. You can also communicate about the results, the impact of your organization. You could also share some links with sources of information, with resources that you created or from someone else. Then there's all the pictures and images and social media cards that you can post. You can create short videos. This is very trendy on Instagram and TikTok to create this kind of short videos. It can be with different goals. It can be educational goals. You can have short videos for information. You can have short videos for awareness raising. So you see, you can have different types of content with different types of formats. You can also share graphics and job postings as well. So as I said, these are just some ideas. Like I said in the beginning, for me at least, this is a very fun process. So don't forget to enjoy it. This is the part where you can be creative, suggest ideas, and contribute to build the image of your organization externally. Important to keep in mind also is to avoid being too technical. Put yourself in the place of your audience. So if your audience is the people that you support, if your audience are non-experts, they usually don't understand specific technical words or acronyms that are widely used in the fields that we work with. So try to use examples, try to use words that, like if you were talking to some family member to explain what you want to explain. I just added a note about artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence can be used, but as an assistant. So in my opinion, you notice when someone creates content only with artificial intelligence, but it can be a really great tool to help you come up with ideas, to help you when you're stuck because you have, like you need some inputs to create content. Personally, I use it that way, and I think it helps a lot. So, for example, if I don't know how to start a sentence, or if I need a suggestion for I don't know how to talk about this topic, I can use it to like spark ideas or start thinking. But really, you have to be the one like the end. The one that controls everything, the information in the end, because you know better than artificial intelligence. Okay, let me see. I'll just say a few words about Canva. Probably a lot of you have heard already about Canva, so you can find it under this website link here. For those of you who don't know about Canva, it's a graphic design tool, but very, very easy to use for people who are not graphic designers. So I invite you to go and check it out. There is a free version that you can use. with a lot of existing templates, a lot of existing content. And just for you, so yeah, as I said, it's really easy to use. You can create social media cards on there. You can use it for also for other things than social media, like this PowerPoint presentation, for example. And maybe interesting for you to know is that the pro version of Canva is free for NGOs. So you can go to the settings and submit a request. You will have to give some proof, but the pro version is free for NGOs and has a lot more interesting features. You can build up a small, what they call brand kits, in a very, very easy way, including like your logo. You can set up the colors of your organization and then have your little brand kit there and use that tool to create your graphic designs. I don't unfortunately have the time to go into details, but there are many, many tutorials on the internet. There's just an example of a link here. And there's also more information on Canva in the e-learning course, which Enikő shared at the beginning, and that I will share again the link at the end. So once you're comfortable with creating regular content, the idea is to address, or like these are things to do at the same time. If you set up a new social media account, your audience will start at 0. So one of the key challenges is to build up your audience, because your goal is to be seen and heard. So the first basic steps would be to mobilize your colleagues, your friends, and your networks, asking them to connect, to share as well. And really, yeah, to share the page in your existing networks with your partners. And also, if you have other channels, like if you have a website, you can add it there. If you have a newsletter, you can also include it in your email signature. And yeah, on every other channel that you have. You can also talk about it during events and include, for example, a link, the mention of your social media if you have flyers that you distribute. Exactly. Another way to build up your audience is to follow other accounts, follow the accounts of your donors, your partners, and chance will be that they will follow back. So this is the free, this doesn't cost any money, these recommendations. If you have some budget, it could be interesting to do a bit of promotion on social media for your page. You can start with a few 10, like if you have $10 or $20, it can already help to increase the visibility of your page. To make sure you have visibility also when the people follow you, it's important to post regularly on your social media pages. So, I mean, it's up to you to find which is the sweet spot, how many posts a week. For us at Terre des Hommes, we post on LinkedIn, for example, we post, I would say 4 to 5 times a week. On Facebook, it's a bit less. On Facebook, it would be 2 to 3 a week. It doesn't mean it has to be the same for you, but yeah, keep the content quite regular. I mean, I would, if I were you, I would use a calendar to create, to plan your posts, to see, okay, what do I have? What are the events? What are the, for example, the international days that are relevant for my organization, and to help you plan and see how many posts you have in the coming weeks. On most social media platforms, you can also schedule your content. So you can prepare the posts, write the caption, upload everything, and then schedule it for the coming week, month, and so on. and then it gets posted automatically, which helps when you, for example, are not able to connect that day, or if you want to prepare like a batch of content and schedule it over the next month. What also helps building up your audience and increasing your visibility is to tag other accounts. Of course, it's important that they are relevant, the accounts that you tag. It can be, for example, if you have an event, if you organize an event, to tag the participants in the event. I don't know if it's with another organization, you can tag the other organization. If it's with I don't know, someone from the authorities and they have an account, please also tag them. So again, the chances that they will see it, they will follow your account, and maybe they will repost, which will give your account more visibility. Also, when managing the comments or the reactions on your page, it's important. This is also, sorry, for the content, it's important to be reactive. So if you're organizing an event, again, you can post about it on the same day. Don't wait for a week or two. I mean, if you have no choice, sometimes it's like that, but the quicker you can be, the better. This is for all social media channels. You get the most attention when things are in the news, or how should I say, when things are really recent. And also responsive. So if you have questions, if you get questions on your social media channels, try to answer as quickly as possible, which makes your page also seem more responsive and will also give a positive image. In your interactions with your followers, it's important to be honest, transparent, and respectful. So yes, there will be. I think I have a slide after that on how to deal with negative comments. But yes, it's important to really tell the truth always on your social media channels, and give the information that is asked for, if it's not confidential, of course. And again, to interact. So the goal of social media is to create a space for public dialogue. So when you step on social media, you accept that. And it's good also if you're able to promote that, so to interact either with your followers, with other accounts as well. You can also comment if the community you work in does a post about something. You can also comment on that and follow up to create the interaction. When you post, it's important always to consider the consequences that your post can have. So if it's a regular post with no big risks, which is usually the case, that is fine. If you think there is delicate information or not sure about the consequences that it could have, I don't know if, for example, if it's advocacy and it's it may be critical of the authorities, for example. It's really important to discuss this with someone in your organization, the relevant person in your organization, because everything that is posted on social media, of course, is public, and can have consequences also for operations, for your activities. So yes, this is to keep in mind. A small note also on your statistics. So most social media platforms offer insights. So you have a section where you can analyze your statistics, how many views did you have, how many new followers, and this is important. I know it takes a lot of time, but this is important also to be able to adapt your content. Okay, which content worked the best? What can I do better? Which should I do less? And as I said, you can use some, if you have budget, it's also interesting to use some to promote visibility. Sorry, I went in the wrong direction. Just a few words, and then I will conclude on how to deal with negative messages. So this is a risk on social media, that you get negative messages. So take some time to analyze what the person says. Where does it come from? If the person, if it's because the person lacks information, you can give more information. You can provide them with links, and always checking your sources. If it's something they didn't understand, you can take your time to clarify it. It can be also because they had a bad experience. So in this case, you can also apologize. If there's something that needs to be reported, and you have a reporting mechanism, you can also invite them to reach out to that reporting mechanism. If there is any kind of solution that you can offer, then you can also inform them about that in the comments. Also, you can invite them to discuss about the issue on private message. If the post is deliberately provoking, or this can be their, how do you call them? I forgot the word, but trolls on social media. You can just ignore it and not respond to them, because this will create just more visibility for them. At Terre des Hommes, we have the rule that if it's, we only delete a comment, let's say, if it's racist, if it's inciting violence, and yeah, if it's something that can be, for example, putting at risk the people that we help or any of our staff. Otherwise, we try not to delete it, because as I said, social media should be a space where we can discuss. Okay, I reached the end of the presentation. Again, here the link to the e-learning course if you would like to join. And if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat.
Yeah, thank you, Isabel, for your presentation. A lot of you asked if we will share the presentation. Yes, after the webinar, we will share the recording of the presentation. We will share with you all the links. Just allow us a little bit of time to prepare that newsletter, and I promise you this week we will send everything for you. I was afraid that we won't have questions, but we have like 8, 9, a lot of questions. So some of them I tried to answer myself. Is the Canva Pro version free for all NGOs from all the countries? Yes. If you need help setting up this account, please write to us on our email, on our central email, and we can help you with that. But the open questions are here a lot. Have you faced a ban or takeoff of your post by Facebook, or were your ads denied? Do you know why this has happened? Isabel, do you want to take Judith's question?
So a ban, we were never banned, but it happened a few times that our ads were refused. This can be for different reasons. I mean, it can be because it's a mistake and you just have to request again the review of the ad. It can be because it's considered political. Usually you can find the reason, like it's a one sentence, but usually you find the reason of the ban in the notification that you get. But you can always request a review.
Okay. Shall we go to the next question? Yes, Sami Usachi asked us that Congo does not appear in available countries. So, yeah, some of the social media platforms are not available in all the countries. So, unfortunately, we cannot change that. Yeah. I don't know, please use another country. Probably that would be my tip. Isabel, what do you suggest?
So in this case, it's not available for organizations or for, I'm not sure if it's for private people, because if the platform is generally not available in the country, then you should pick a social media platform that is used and is available in the country. So I'm not exactly sure about the question.
Yeah, let's go to the next question. Anwar Muhammad asked us that how can reputational risk be mitigated for local CSOs and NGOs during the partnership in the era of fake news or propaganda? What role can communication play in this?
That's a difficult question, a bit broader than social media. So maybe just if we focus on social media, I think the first aspect would be to have a regular monitoring on social media. So to check regularly your social media accounts if there's a topic that is risky, or if someone comments something that is risky, to pick it up and discuss it with the relevant people in your organizations and see how you can respond. So like prepare like a solid response to this. And yes, that's the first strategy. And after, it can be like, for example, I mentioned X for Terre des Hommes. There's many organizations that for ethical reasons, or because they don't agree anymore with Elon Musk's politics and way of doing things, that they decided to step out of X. So that's also something to consider. But yeah, for risks in communication, I think it's a bit of a broader topic. Of course, on social media, you're very exposed, and that's why I think it's important to be honest and transparent and be very reactive. So again, to monitor and to have, maybe for sensitive topics, you can also have some questions and answers ready. So if someone comments something, you already have a prepared response.
Okay, thank you, Isabel. Judith again has a question for videos. Do you know how come a lot of creators can use copyrighted music? Do you have a tip on that?
How come a lot of, can you repeat? Sorry.
So how come a lot of creators can use copyrighted music for videos?
Usually this is quite controlled on platforms, and it's not recommended to use content that you don't have the copyright for. There's a lot of platforms with free of how do you call it, with no copyright, with pictures and with music that you can use freely. Canva also has a library of pictures and images that you can use freely. So this would be the good practice, and not to use content that you don't have the copyright for.
Thank you. Sammy again has a question. It asks for our advice. How long can the short video be?
How long can a short video be? I think, well, the longest is what the platform accepts. So on Facebook, I think it's 1 minute. On TikTok, I don't know exactly, but it's maybe 10 minutes. I don't know this. I'm not sure about this. You have to test. I mean, you have to test what works for your audience. Usually we say that the shorter, the better, but I mean, it can be that your topic can't be summarized in 15 seconds or in 1 minute. So my recommendation would be to test. Maybe you can start with doing a 1 minute video to see, okay, how does the audience respond? Then you can make a 2 minute video. Does it work better or not? And then adapt your content to how your audience responds.
Okay, Risky Tan Jung has a question I don't fully understand. How do we develop our social media, and is there a negative impact on the institution from our social media? Uh,
So, how to develop the social media? I mean, I guess that was the main topic of the presentation. So maybe it will be useful if we send the presentation and you can go through the main points again. About the risk, if I understand the question well, is if social media is a risk for the organization. So if that's the question, is it can be. So this can also be discussed. This should also be discussed in the beginning when you decide, okay, why do you want to create a social media channel? What is your goal? Who is your audience? And then you can also analyze the risks. So, okay, what can be the risks of your organization being on social media? Depending on the context, the risks are not the same, and yeah, they have to be taken in account as well, like in the same document as the one that analyzes the resources that you have and so on.
Super, thank you. Lucille Pio asks, and there are automatic solutions to react to hate speech on social media, meaning AI or chatbots available?
I don't use, so I cannot answer that question, unfortunately. Maybe someone in the chat has any recommendations, so feel free to comment as well.
I know that there was some moderation in place from Facebook and other social media, but that moderation was not done by AI. It is done by people. Yeah.
So there is the
If you have
internal, yeah, sorry, there's maybe a few words. There is the internal feature on social media platforms where you can report each comment. So if there's the comment, you have usually like three dots on the side and you can click and report. And then you have to say why you're reporting it, if it's hate speech, if it's anything else. And then it gets reviewed by the platform and then they delete the comment or not. But if the question was if there's any additional tool that you can use to react to comments, hate speech comments, for this I don't know.
So we do have 2 minutes, but I think we have, I think, 2 or 3 questions left. Do you agree, Isabel?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, super. So what tips would you share regarding enhancing visibility? Hassane Koubere asks this one.
So to enhance visibility, maybe I can just quickly go back to sorry. To here, it would be firstly to try to build up your audience, because the more audience you have, the more people see your posts, and then to have a regular to post content regularly, to create regular content. This will help you also be present on social media to build up your image. There's different things that I mentioned in the presentation that you can take the time to look at. And also, again, if you have even a tiny budget that you can put on social media visibility, this also helps to increase your presence on social media. This was just a very quick answer, but yeah, some more key points are on the slides.
Okay, I will take a question, from the chat. Diana Gius asked us, it's an urgent question, if we have diverse activities with different thematics, like, let's say, local children workshop and Erasmus Plus project, it is compulsory to have the same templates for posts?
No, this is up to you to decide. I mean, you have to also maybe reflect on the global strategy. Do you want to create one channel for both projects, for example, or is it more relevant for you to create one channel for each project, which can also be done? You can have the same template or the same type of communication and mixing up the different topics, or you can choose to have a specific template and specific messages for each project. It really depends on the strategy that you chose. Also, I don't know if you have different partners or different audiences for the two projects.
Okay. Can you stay a little bit longer, Isabel, to answer the questions, or shall we answer them in writing? Because we still have some, like 3 or 4
we can
questions.
take some, can take some more.
So Abdissa Bekele Bulto asks us, sometimes people interpret your message negatively, knowingly, and they are not ready to hear when you want to clarify. What shall I do in such a case?
So for me, what is key is to really stay like factual, like to stick to the facts and stay calm, and not to enter the game of even if the other person is aggressive, not to become defensive, and really to stick to the facts. So usually if you stick to the facts, add a source, maybe the person may react, but then you see that the organization has answered with a source, with arguments. If this doesn't work, if the other person continues to be aggressive, you can also ask them politely to stop, that let them know that you have given your response and to stop being aggressive, or if they are doing defamation, for example, you can let them know that you don't accept that. And if really it continues, and it is it's something that you cannot accept, you can also block the person or block the comments. So this is, I would say, this is the last thing on your list, but if you need to use that option, you can also use it.
Okay, I think we should take one or two last questions. Nazish Samu asks us if we faced any social media account blocked issue on LinkedIn or Instagram, we lost it, how we can recover them.
This is a very complicated question.
And a very long process, to be honest.
Yes, so there are procedures for each platform. I recommend that you, in the Q&As of each platform, there's you should find the information on how to try. If it's that you forgot the password, that's quite easy. If it's when, I don't know, maybe you lost access to your email address, maybe there's a way to reactivate that address. It depends really on the account. So, and sometimes it's just not possible. So unfortunately, we also had the case for an account that we opened, that a country office opened, and we lost the access, and we were not able to get it back. So it's not a very precise answer, but I really recommend to go and check the procedures for each platform.
And then Dessa Legn Denevo asks, it is possible to prepare a communication strategy. And also Henriette Sifa asks, how can I create budget of communication activities? This it's the planning stage of the communication.
So the communication strategy, there's an e-learning module on that, Enikő, right?
Yes,
so,
yes.
So I invite you to go and check that one out. It's very straightforward with the different steps. And also, I mean, for the budget, Enikő, is there something I mentioned about the budget? I don't remember.
No, it's the budget also. How can I create a budget of communication activities? In the e-learning, we do not cover budget for the communication, but maybe probably we should consider this topic to...
Yeah, it's interesting. An interesting point, and of course, because we mentioned it also here. So to create a budget, it depends on your organization's whole budget. If you have an interesting amount of money to dedicate for social media, then you can, like a regular budget, you can plan on investing it. Like you can do the budget on the year when you invest what and how, and when you invest how much, on which platform, for example, do you put so $10 on a post to promote an event that you have, and so on. But then if your question is about how do you secure a sum of money from your organization's budget, these are the discussions during the budgeting process. So the idea for communication would be to defend the reason why you would need money for social media. So that's all the arguments that you come up with so promoting visibility, promoting any kind of event, reinforcing your reputation, for example. So yeah, sometimes it's difficult to prove the effect of all this money that is invested in social media, because it's how do you prove visibility? But I think it's a key investment, even if it's not a huge amount of money.
And we have only 2 more questions left, Isabel. Trevor de Jong asked, so I personally noticed that many organizations seems to use social media platforms like reporting platforms. I think that creates a limitation for reaching bigger audiences. Instagram is for creativity, Facebook is status updates, LinkedIn is a more professional approach. How can organizations try to be more creative about what they are doing to get more coverage?
So I think the key way is to put yourself in the shoes of your audience and what they would like to see. Okay, if you are on social media, do you like checking out reports, or do you prefer to see something creative, a video? I don't have the answer to that. Everyone has to answer that for themselves. But on one side, we have the information as organization that we want to publish, and on the other side, we have the audience. So we have to be able to put the information in a format that the audience likes. So what do they like to, is it easier for the audience to see a graph like with nice colors, with bullet points, or is it easier for them to read a 1 page of text? It requires a bit of work sometimes, and as you said, to be creative, but that's the key process of communication, to be able to put the information in a way that is easy and fun to read, or easy and not too complicated to read for the audience.
And I think this is going to be the last question. Thank you for your interest and a lot of questions answered. A lot of questions formulated, sorry. So the last one is Lika Chigladze. Is it possible to invite other companies or organizations to follow your business page to increase followers?
Yes, I believe that is possible on some platforms like LinkedIn. So this is actually also a very good tip or recommendation to increase your audience.
Okay, now we finished the questions. I will shortly just launch a poll. Just bear with me. Launch. It's an end of webinar poll. This poll helps us create better webinars. Please answer them. And in the meantime that you are answering these polls, I will let you know that our next event will be a webinar on environmental sustainability with Louis Muller, and he is the author of the Environmental Sustainability in EOD Organizations e-learning. We will share with you the invitation to this webinar. Isabel, I want to thank you for all the useful tips that you shared with us. If you think that you, as participants, have more questions, or would you like some communication help from us, from LocalLink Hub, do not hesitate to write at our central email address, and we will be more than happy to guide you, to help you a bit in your social media account setup, in your Canva registration, to claim the free registration and such. Let me see. Okay, some of the people are still filling in the poll, so I will wait a bit. I think so. We have 38 answers for the poll. So thank you very much for your answers, for your feedback. And then see you at our next webinar. So take care and bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.